Why do victims of narcissistic abuse almost all wonder if they're the narcissist? Narcissists are skilled at playing the victim. They use a range of tactics to create this perception, and here's 5 of them. Number 1, blaming the victim. They blame you for their behavior. This creates guilt and shame in the victim. Number 2, gaslighting. The narcissist denies and minimizes their own behavior, and then they accuse the victim of being overly sensitive or overly emotional. Number 3, projection. They project their own negative traits and behaviors onto their victims, and this makes the victim feel like they're the ones with the problem. Number 4, playing the victim. A narcissist will portray themselves as the victim when they're the perpetrator. They'll do things anywhere from exaggerating to straight up fabricating events. They do this to make themselves seem like the one who's been mistreated, abused, or victimized. And number 5, distorting reality. This involves lying, withholding information, and straight up rewriting history. And they do this to suit their own narrative. Almost all victims of narcissistic abuse wonder at one point or another, am I the narcissist? Am I the problem? Now, as an aside, reactive abuse, and I hate that term, is also something that is used to make the victim feel like they're the perpetrator of abuse. Reactive abuse is really just a reaction to being abused. Maybe you screamed, yelled, hit them. Now, none of these are okay, but they're understandable if you've experienced it yourself. I heard this recently and I honestly can't remember where, but if a cat corners a mouse and the mouse bites the cat, do we blame the mouse? Another example I've seen is a can of pop. If you shake a can of pop and then it explodes, do you blame the pop or the person who shook the can? Narcissistic abuse is covert. It's insidious. And narcissists are master manipulators. They're con artists. Over time, it's honestly not that difficult for them to convince their victims that they're the actual perpetrators. It's very difficult, but you've got to stay in reality. If you need help doing this, get into the Trauma Bond Recovery course. Over 12 weeks, it's going to teach you everything you need to know to overcome narcissistic abuse and break your trauma bond.
Stronger.